Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Thomas may kiss Hope and pitch a family reunion with Douglas. Thomas throw his chapeau in the ring as yet another romantic option for Hope. Hope was devastated when Thomas decided to break effects off and leave for France with Douglas. Since Hope couldn't give Thomas the marriage offer answer he wanted, Thomas chose to leave city with their son. Thomas caused further pain for Hope when he came home engaged to Paris. We can go. Thomas regrets rushing into that answer relationship now that his engagement is over. Part of Thomas may be wishing he'd shown Hope a little further tolerance and understanding. Still, he might be married to Hope right now. If Thomas had just been willing to stay. Thomas may eventually find himself visited by what might have been, especially since he's not in a good frame of mind right now. When Ridge and Taylor inescapably resolve, that's going to mess with Thomas's head indeed more. Thomas will find himself hopeless for some happiness, so he may fall back into his old Hope obsession. It's easy to imagine Thomas chancing out Liam is trying to steal Hope down from Carter. Thomas may decide he should be the one to steal Hope back rather, so that could lead to some bold moves. Liam has been pushing Hope to reunite and make their family with Beth whole again. Thomas could make an analogous pitch if he maybe plants a kiss on Hope and pushes for a family reunion with Douglas. Perhaps Thomas could admit he was wrong to pressure Hope into marriage and pledge they don't have to tie the knot anytime soon. Thomas might contend all he needs is Hope by his side and play up how important Douglas misses her, too. Thomas will be coming in line to ambush Hope with a kiss and a reunion plea. Fraud Eric will advise Thomas while Ridge detainments Taylor heartbreak. Eric will have a tense discussion with Thomas and try to steer his grandson down from poking in Ridge's love life. Since Thomas is an overgrown man who doesn't need to be controlling Ridge's future, Eric will throw some complaints at him. Eric is a fraud since he's also an overgrown man who shouldn't be telling Ridge what to do. It's not fair for Eric to grouch about Thomas's jest when he's doing the same thing. Eric will continue to believe he's right and anyone who thinks Ridge belongs with Taylor is wrong, including Thomas since he's so adamant about his parents sticking together. Thomas will defend Taylor and Ridge's love story, but Eric will seriously misdoubt that Ridge can truly be happy with her. As Eric is concerned, Brooke is the only woman who can satisfy Ridge and leave him without any regrets. Since Eric is a broken record when it comes to pushing Ridge toward Brooke, Ridge wouldn't be suitable to shake his father's advice. Ridge will dwell on everything Eric's told him and worry that standing by his engagement to Taylor could indeed be a mistake. After in Naples, Eric knows Ridge still wants Brooke deep down. Brooke and Ridge are each other's fortune, so it's easy to see this plot will ultimately lead to their coming chapter as a couple. Ridge will be miserable as he stands by Taylor rather of going back to Brooke. Ridge will delay Taylor's heartbreak since he wouldn't give Brooke the reunion she wants just yet. Ridge could make effects indeed worse if he sets a marriage date with Taylor since she's been obliging him about that. Taylor believes she's going to live happily ever after with Ridge, but she's in for a rude awakening. Thomas' alarm bells went off for Brooke and Katie. Taylor was also on a charge to set a marriage date. At Forrester Creations, Eric, Brooke and Katie were each in agreement about who Ridge truly belonged with. It was just a matter of Ridge coming back to Brooke before it was too late. Once Eric took off, Brooke and Katie bandied Thomas being back in city. There was some talk about Thomas's disturbing history, so Katie and Brooke stressed how he'd reply when Ridge's engagement to Taylor fell piecemeal. Ridge gave Taylor updates on Thomas and Paris' resolve. That left Taylor indeed more determined to lift Thomas's spirits and set a date for her espousal with Ridge. When Eric appeared, Taylor gave him the news about setting a marriage date with Ridge soon. Eric intimately ordered Ridge to end effects with Taylor tonight, but Ridge brought up Thomas's desire for his parents to marry. Since Thomas was an adult with a son of his own, Eric didn't authorize of him putting pressure on Ridge. Ridge refocused out that's what Eric was doing, too. Eric stood his ground and upset about what the future held for Ridge if he didn't reunite with Brooke. Ridge was reflective as Eric formally again pushed him to make the right decision and enjoy a Brooke reunion. Thomas continued to fixate on Ridge and Brooke's moping connection, though he held on to stopgap that has paid her. would it let his family down? Taylor met up with Thomas in one of the guest houses and let him know that she'd be setting a marriage date with Ridge soon. Taylor tried to talk to Thomas about his Paris bifurcation. Thomas signed it off and concentrated on Taylor's happy ending with Ridge. Ridge came home to Taylor latterly, so she put further pressure on him when it came to setting a marriage date. Despite Taylor's belief that Ridge would be her hubby again, he looked torn after Eric's rearmost Brooke reunion pitch. Thomas' minatory side could come out of unlawful reversal. Thomas revert to his old crooked tendencies and beget some serious drama. Taylor and Lee had a discussion about Thomas's troubled history. Although Taylor would detest to see Thomas have another reversal, she conceded that she'd be there for him if he did. Lee also hoped that nothing would be to detect Thomas's old issues, so there are some warning signs then. Ridge expressed concern as well since Thomas is feeling so misplaced right now. It's clear that Thomas is lonely and floundering to manage both tête-à-tête and professionally. Ridge and Taylor's muffed reunion may be the last straw that pushes Thomas over the edge. Thomas himself said he could handle it, so he may be proven right. Still, there are 3 ways B&B might shoot Thomas off the rails. If that's the case, Thomas blames Brooke for Taylor and Ridge's renewed love falling piecemeal. He could go after her for vengeance. Thomas might also believe that if he can just get Brooke out of the way, he can get effects back on track for his parents. We could clearly imagine Thomas sabotaging Brooke or indeed going as far as abducting her. It all depends on how low the Penns want to take Thomas as he sets an implicit Brooke trap. We should consider the possibility that Thomas's preoccupation with Hope will come a problem again. Thomas may fixate on Hope once he's spinning out over Taylor and Ridge's split, so that could unleash some mayhem in her life, too. Thomas and Luna to come deranged opponents. Luna tried to wipe Steffi off the chart, so Thomas may not be willing to let that slide once he finds out she's alive. It'd be delightful to watch Thomas go up against Luna and leave her scrabbling since she's not used to someone condescending to her position. Thomas and Ridge face off in a battle of choices. Katie urges Brooke to tell Taylor the verity, and Lee starts asking questions about Luna's mysterious absences. Luna slipped down from Sheila and Lee to crash Will's festivity. After Will passed out at Deacon's, Luna disguised herself as Elektra and crossed a line that left Will shaken. This shocking move only strengthened Sheila and Lee's enterprises about Luna's jest. And Sheila indeed tried to talk sense into her granddaughter before effects entwined further. Thomas returned after his whirlwind engagement to Paris. Thomas left city with his son after Hope constantly turned down his proffers, leaving his romantic life in shambles. This time, his focus was on celebrating Ridge and Taylor's marriage. But Taylor is still in the dark about Ridge's kiss with Brooke after he saved her from a dangerous fall in Capri. With secrets brewing, the Forrester family is headed for further heartache.